What's going on YouTube? It's GCTV back with another video. We are here with our last video kind of the morning window. To leave for class in like 16 minutes. This video won't take that long, of course, but yeah. We're going to talk about the second episode of Season 3. He dropped 2 of them to start this season, but obviously, I already watched a movie that week. But this week you guys are getting 2 day reviews. I'm watching the third episode tonight. Yeah, it's crazy. We're already going to be 30% through the season. So, yeah, let's just talk about this episode real quick. This is a very abrasive episode. It's a scene-by-scene basis. It's got a heavy dose of Dave at his most insufferable. Harrison Dave is probably the show's tensest installment since Season 2 began with a nightmarish day in South Korea, which was awesome. I loved that episode. Can y'all hear me well? Okay, let's put this up here like this. Y'all can probably hear me better now. I don't know. Hopefully it's not too terrible. It is what it is. Okay. That's why I don't like having my mic on the stand, because it keeps like flipping around and shit. I'll do it on stream, but this one is centered on the filming of a new music video about Dave's teenage romantic origin story, and for pretty much its whole runtime, it's in Birdman mode, tracking Dave with long shots and frantic percussions as he juggles variously aged child actors in a very tight window for shooting at Macaroni Grill. The love story of Dave Bird and Brittany Parker, played by the always great Jane Levy, is a tale as old as time. He had a crush on her in 8th grade and settled for becoming her best friend, but frequently found himself as the shoulder for her to cry on when her older boyfriends cheated on or otherwise mistreated her. I'm not really sure if Brittany Parker was like... Maybe she was discussed in one of his songs. I don't remember. But it's cool to see her in the show, I guess. Or mentioned in the show. When one boyfriend couldn't go to the homecoming dance, Brittany suggested she and Dave go together. But then her boyfriend surprised her out there after all. And Dave became a 33rd wheel, dancing on the table at Macaroni Grill. It's part of a mandated birthday ritual, even though it wasn't his birthday. So obviously a lot of embarrassing times for Dave, going through high school and stuff. They later went on to date for a month, but that time feels like a blip compared to the length of his infatuation. With this music video, Dave is hoping to retell the story in painstaking detail, filming at his parents' home during the Philadelphia stop at the tour and using real props, including old letters between the two. So yeah, this is like really personal. He's hoping to court more of a female audience, a relative blind spot in his base. But as Dave explicitly tells Brittany later, it's a period that profoundly impacted him. As cynical as his aims are, there's something genuine, albeit deeply flawed, about his desire to put his feelings out there and tell his story through art. Dave didn't plan on actually making an effort to see his old friend while he was home. But when she drops by and requests a cameo in the video, he's happy to use her to justify his own adult presence in the narrative. Of course, he really doesn't have any interest in showing her perspective of the story, even when Emma suggests that including would work well for the video. While shooting the final scene and following multiple disasters, including a video assist operator who has to leave the newly painted house for fear of relapsing on huffing liqueur, Brittany storms out, refusing to play the villain. Dave still imagines her to be almost 20 years later, and it's kind of a crazy little symbolism, because he still thinks she's the villain, apparently, by casting her as such and putting her in his music video. During a final argument between the two, all of Dave's ugliest qualities are laid bare. Over the course of this day, Brittany has made numerous attempts to spend time with the old friend she loved rather than just shoot a music video. But that's the life of being a rapper, I guess. But at every point, Dave is less interested in catching up than in making it clear to Brittany that she doesn't have control over his feelings anymore. He's famous and successful now, and she no longer plays an outsized role in his life, unlike back when she only gave him a month of dating. Never mind that Brittany had her own family problems and serious mental health issues she was dealing with at the time, which I think she kind of talked about in the episode. Except, of course, Dave does still have unresolved feelings about this. And I'm pretty sure Brittany Parker is like a very prominent part about Lil Dicky's life. He said he took a risk making this episode because it's very personal, you know, and you put actual names out there. Except, of course, Dave does. Or yeah, isn't it funny how you can feel so vulnerable about your teenage years so long after, how desperately you crave external validation from the people you grew up with, even if you're supposed to be happy with the strides you've made? It's crazy how that works, man. Dave often uses his protagonist to unpack the nuances of modern masculinity, and Dave is a pretty believable avatar for this familiar brand of nice guy entitlement, the type of incelish resentment that can curdle into lifelong ideas about the women in your life owe you. Yeah. In fact, while we've never heard about Britney before, as far as I can remember, so I guess she wasn't really... I haven't heard of her, but she might have been mentioned in LD's music, you know. In retrospect, it feels like we've seen the effects of their love story crop up before, especially in last season's Somebody Date Me, when Dave's entitlement led him to sabotage his chances with Doja Cat by lashing out when she didn't respond quickly enough for him. That story gets referenced again here, twisted into another braggy anecdote that makes Dave look better and more sympathetic than he really is, just like the music video itself in a way. The episode ends on an interesting note. Dave relinquishes control to Emma, who has a creative way to close out the video with limited talent and space. He tells her that he really does trust her, a sign that maybe he hasn't backslid to the point of sabotaging all of his friendships at once again, but you get the feeling that so many of these conflicts could have been avoided if he just listened to her from the beginning. You know, Dave just kind of creates conflicts for himself. And that's what comes with stress and being a rapper, I suppose, and the pressure of putting some fire out, you know. Ironically, though, it turns out the final point of Dave's romantic origin story is that his friendship with Britney taught him that he was worthy of love. A message devastatingly undercut by Britney telling Dave shortly before, "I really loved you, and it doesn't seem to matter to you at all." It's a complicated conclusion. Would Britney be pleasantly surprised with the finished product, given the ultimately wistful tone? More likely, any sweetness of this ending message is dulled by the frustration of watching Dave get so close to the point while still missing it. Part of watching Dave is hoping he'll get there one day. I don't really have much to say. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe. That is the end of the video. I usually don't talk about Dave that much. 2 short videos for the day. Just kind of kickstart your guys' morning. Hopefully you enjoyed. If there are good play-in games tonight, we will talk about them on the channel. Also on Kick with my boy Greg. We're going to be streaming live. So make sure you check that out later in the night. This weekend I'm probably